once an afternoon session.
I will call the House Tax Committee to order. We do have a quorum. The hour of 10:15 haven't arrived. We have a full agenda for today, members, but if Representative Norris would move the minutes of, let's get it for the record here, of April 21st. Representative Norris.
Chair Davids, I move approval of the April 21st minutes.
Any additions or corrections or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion prevails. Thank you, Vice Chair Norris. Most important thing of the day, of course, is to introduce the high school pages. I haven't got to talk to all of them yet. I want to make sure that I make them aware of Winona State as a fine institution of higher learning. So if you could tell us where you're from, your school, your team mascot.
Your representative.
And your representative.
And your representative, very important.
My name is William Becker from District 17A. My representative will be Don Gillman. And I go to Glencoe Silver Lake High School, and our mascot is the Panther.
Panthers, okay.
My name's Sienna. I'm from Great River School. Our mascot is the Heron, and my representative is Elliot Lincoln.
Where's Great River School? What city?
It's in Hamlin, Como area.
Okay, okay.
My name is Leo Coulter. I'm from Faribault High School. Our mascot is the Falcons, and my representative is Keith Allen.
My name is Joanne Zhang. I go to St. Anthony Village High School. Our mascot is a Husky, and my state representative is Sandra Fives.
Hi, my name is Ella Palm. I attend Orono High School. Our mascot is the Spartan, and my representative is Andrew Myers.
My name is Amalia Tykast. I'm from District 45B. My representative is Patty Acomb. I attend Hopkins High School, and our mascot is a Royal Lion.
My name is Howard.
Just wait, it's a what?
A Royal Lion.
Oh, Royal Lion, okay.
My name is Howard Mishesha. I go to Parnassus Preparatory. Our mascot is Zeus. We're called the Olympians. And my representative is Harry Miska.
Hi, I'm Ivy Glazer. I go to Rosemount High School in Rosemount. My representative is John Hewitt, and our mascot is the Irish.
The Irish. Now just make sure you look up Winona State next year. Okay? Okay, thank you. I think we should give them a round of applause. Thanks so much for being here. It's a very good program that you're taking part in. Okay, item next, I'm going to try to accommodate people that have had people come in from a distance, but we're going to start out instead of, we're going to go to House File 4506, a Heintzeman bill. So if Representative Heintzeman could come forward. Oh, he stepped out. Like I said, let's go to the House File 5039, Representative Nadeau, Champlin. Like I said, let's go to the next one. Is Franson here? I'm here. Let's just do my bills. Okay. Let's just, Representative Bennett.
Gilman's here too. Yeah, Representative Bennett's here.
There's Bennett right there.
Okay, Representative Bennett, Albert Lee, you're up first. I will move House File 4279. So members, if you could dig in your packet, 4279. And we do have an amendment. Is that your amendment? Well, I'll let you get seated here first. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize. My testifiers were out in the hall. I had to go grab them.
Okay.
Get them in
Okay.
here.
So, Chair Bennett, I will move House File 4279. Now, Chair Bennett, is the A1 amendment yours?
That is my amendment, and it's just to align with the other body. It's very minor.
Okay, so I will move the H4279A1 amendment. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion prevails. We now have the bill as amended in the shape the author would like. So with that being said, if you could please present your bill, Chair Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I have actually two people, one from the city of Albert Lee, one from our Shell Rock River Watershed Board, who I'm going to just take it over because they will do a much better job than me. So, Mr. Chair, if we could.
Okay, please identify yourself for the record and present your testimony.
Honorable Chair and committee members, my name is Ian Rigg, and I'm the city manager of Albert Lee. Thank you for providing me this opportunity to speak on HF 4279. The city of Albert Lee is a primary urban and economic center of Freeborn County, with 60% of the county population living inside the city limits, and most of the sales tax occurring within the city boundaries. We are also the primary source of public amenities to the residents within Freeborn County, with our parks, library, arena, community centers, and more. It's because of this, the City Council of Albert Lea chose to add 4 new projects and continue our water quality efforts using sales tax as the funding method because it is a more equitable source than property taxes. If the city were to pay for its inclusive ball field with property taxes, it would be paid 100% by the residents and businesses of Albert Lea, while less than half of the users would be residents of Albert Lea. This can be said the same as for our sports complex and the one library we have in the county, which is the City of Albert Lea's library. The majority of the trail that runs from Albert Lea to the northern county line is outside the city limits and requires grant matches to that, and it does create equity concerns, to which sales tax is the only solution. Approval of this bill will continue the existing use of sales tax for water quality projects and fund projects used by a much larger group of contributors than the residents within Albert Lea. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to try and answer them, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. And to the testifiers, we'd like about 2 minutes. That was a great presentation. About 2 minutes. We've got, as you can see, the agenda is very full today, and we want to get people driven from some distances, and we'd like to get everybody in. Are you a resource, or do you have testimony?
Resource.
Okay, resource. We love resources. Representative Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the bill language in each of the projects talks about, uses the word equipping, which is not usually a word that we see in these bills. Can you just tell me a little bit more about what the proposal is there? This is usually for, construction of structures or trails or that kind of thing.
To the witness.
I believe that was preferred language to be a bit more encompassing of some of the items, such as when you talk about the library renovation, some of the improvements to the library may not be directly construction, but there may be some equipping, such as potentially, I want to say furniture. I may be misspeaking as to what the intent was from our attorneys when they wrote this. Additionally, features that go along the trail. As example, if there are certain trailheads and there would be like park equipment that would be established along that, that would be also would be considered equipping, as well as what we know would be what would be the definition of building the pickleball courts or the all-inclusive miracle field. Some of the other items, is it considered an actual construction like a building, or is it considered equipment? Would the fence be equipment or not? So they used it as a, I believe, an all-encompassing language, but the projects still are lasting capital projects. These are not short-term items. These are 20-year-plus items that would be installed.
Chair Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the idea of extending a local option sales tax to buy furniture for inside a building would be expanding kind of the scope of it, and I think in alignment with the intent of the allowed, none of these are allowed uses as such, but, it doesn't really comply with the guidelines, I guess, that we've set up. So I would be interested in changing that and ensuring that we're not, again, setting a precedent for other projects that want to come in and purchase interior equipment for buildings. That's not the intent with this. So statute requires a 1-year gap between the expiration of an existing tax and the establishment of a new tax. So Albert Lea, I think, has an existing .5 that's been in place since 2006. So there's no gap in this project per statute. You're notwithstanding that part also? Is that the idea?
To the testifier.
It is our understanding there would be a 1-year gap between when the sales tax ends, which we believe will be September 30th of this year, which will be before the referendum election, and would not start again until October 1st of 2027.
Chair Gomez.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it. Just finally, water improvements are not an allowed use of local option sales taxes under statute. It's for, freestanding buildings, trails, parks, some of the other uses are in alignment with that. But again, every time that we allow an exception to this, we invite more exceptions to it. The local option sales taxes under, 297A.99 are not intended to be used for road improvements, water improvements, the regular functioning of city government. And so, you know, as we see more and more of these proposals, I feel that we have to at least stay true to the very, very limited kind of guardrails that we put on these over the last few years. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Anyone from the audience would like to testify for the bill or with concerns? Does the department, could you make space there for the gentleman? Please state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
Nathaniel M. Olson, a disability advocate for the state of Minnesota. Okay, I'm gonna blow you guys out of the mind about what Representative the lady was saying. Okay, so if we talk about taxes and the statute of it, let me make something very clear. The United States Constitution oversees the Minnesota Constitution. So yes, we could have statute on taxes, but automatically, we can do it. Because if you really look at the United States Constitution, we shouldn't be paying taxes anyway. It's theft. You guys all know that. But we don't need to follow the statute. We can put in place this taxes without following the Minnesota statute taxes at all. Because we could use the United States Constitution to oversee the Minnesota Constitution. So I want to make something clear when we talk about taxes here, and what is going on is we have constitutional rights. We do not need to follow the Minnesota statute of putting this place in taxes. We could actually do this, and it would oversee this. That's what I really want to know. So yes, I am for this bill, and we don't need to have a statute of more statutes. So that's all I wanted to say.
Any questions for members of the witness? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else wish to testify for the bill or with concerns? Does the department, is the department here? Oh, way back there. Okay, why don't we do it this way, since we have so many bills? If the department would like to comment on a bill, just get the chair's attention and you'll be right up, or if members have questions. Okay, member questions. Okay, would you like to wrap it up, Chair Bennett?
I will, Mr. Chair, and just in wrapping this up, I do want to say I'm a little confused about the comments on water resource protection. This is not a new endeavor for our city to have the 0.5 sales tax. I've been involved in getting it renewed a couple times, and it has gone fully toward the watershed project. At this point, the watershed's done a great job restoring our lake, and they still have work to do, but we're taking and scaling back their amount and asking that the city would use part of this for regional projects. So that I just want to make clear, and I really appreciate the committee hearing this. It's something that Albert Lee and our area has done a great job managing these sales tax funds in the past for water improvement, and now to continue our job in other areas. So thank you.
Thank you, Chair Bennett. The chair will renew his motion that House File 4279 as amended be laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you to Chair Bennett and your testifiers. Item next, we're going to go to Chair Heintzeman. I will move House File 4506. So we have 4506 before us. I do not see any amendments at this point. Representative Chair Heintzeman, if you could present your bill, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. Very similar to the previous bill, we have the city of Baxter today, who is looking for continuation or the opportunity to continue their 0.5% sales tax going forward, and I'll let them explain the details of the proposal. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, please state your name and who you represent for the record, please, sir.
Co-Chair Davids, Co-Chair Gomez, members of the committee, my name is Bradley Chapulis. I'm the city administrator for the city of Baxter. Before I begin, Representative Davids, or Chair Davids, Baxter is part of the Brainerd School District, so we are the Warriors.
Warriors, yep.
So I want to thank everyone for the time and opportunity to testify on House File 4506, which is a bill seeking an extension of the City of Baxter's existing local sales tax authorization. Baxter is a community of 9,300 people located in the heart of the Brainerd Lakes region. Blessed to be positioned at the crossroads of two significant state highways in north central Minnesota, those being Minnesota Highway 210 and Minnesota Highway 371. Baxter has become an economic hub for the 96,000 plus Brainerd Lake area residents, for 11,000 plus employees, and over 1.2 million annual visitors. With the honor and distinction of being a regional economic hub, Baxter has a responsibility to provide and maintain community infrastructure necessary to sustain and grow the region's economy. This requires a substantial financial approach that includes the combination of real estate taxes, utility rates, and local sales taxes. Originally authorized in 2006 and extended in 2014, Baxter's local sales tax has been utilized to support the regional, or the city's regional sanitary, water, wastewater, stormwater, traffic safety improvements, and other capital investments. Most recently, the sewer and water extensions out to the Brainerd Lakes Regional Airport. According to our projections, the city will reach the current sales tax authorization in 2027, several years in advance of the expiration date. With the infrastructure needs identified in several studies and plans, such as sewer and water investment plans, MnDOT safety studies, et cetera, the city is looking at over $160 million of capital investment to its infrastructure to continue to support the regional economy. As such, the city is proposing to utilize the local sales tax to invest in this infrastructure to make sure that we're supporting the regional economy. Specifically, the city is requesting to extend the local sales tax by authoring $77 million in proposed capital projects, $51 million for continued water and wastewater utility improvements, $16 million to be continued towards regional transportation safety on roads that are adjacent or affected by the two state highways, and $10 million for a new public safety facility to serve the needs of the city and the region. To avoid disruption to the local sales tax collection already in place, the city is seeking legislative approval to place.
Sir, if you could wrap up your testimony,
Yep,
please.
I'm
We want to
right
keep
there.
about 2 minutes for everyone.
We're seeking to place the extension before the tax vote, or the voters in November. I want to thank you again for the time and an opportunity to present the request. With me today is my cohort, Baxter Finance Director Jeremy Vasinek, who is there to provide to help with answering any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Questions from the audience? Okay, we will go to member questions. Representative Elkins.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm going to have a fair amount of comments today on this particular one. I don't want you guys to take anything personally, and I promised the chair that I would keep my comments as well organized and as synced as possible, and that I would shut up for the rest of the meeting. So questions for the city. It looks to me like in the early years that this tax was in effect, that there was some coordination with the city of Brainerd, especially related to sewer and water projects. It looks like pretty much all of the revenues from this extension of the sales tax are pretty much projects within the city of Baxter now, or are there other things that are truly regional in nature that would be outside the boundaries of the city?
Please state your name, who you represent for the record, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Jeremy Vasinek, Finance Director for the City of Baxter. Mr. Chair and Representative, the City of Baxter is proposing to continue to utilize the local sales tax for a wastewater treatment plant that is serving both the cities of Brainerd and Baxter. There are upgrades that are being proposed to the wastewater facility that is owned by the city of Brainerd. The city of Baxter has capacity in that plant, so this would pay for our share of that capacity. The city of Brainerd is still collecting sales tax to pay for their share of the plant. With regard to the water improvements, we do have an interconnect agreement with the city of Brainerd, so while we both have our own water systems, we do have the opportunity to utilize each other's water if necessary. In addition to that, with regard to the public safety facility, while it's being built for the city of Baxter's police department, it is a cooperative agreement that we do have with the surrounding community of the city of Brainerd, as well as the other communities and Crow Wing County, to provide mutual aid for that purpose.
Representative Elkins.
Thank you. Typically, when a city is requesting a local option sales tax for the first time, they'll reach out to the University of Minnesota Extension to request an analysis. I've got holding ones for City of Hermantown that showed that their local option sales tax, 79% of the revenues would come from taxes would be paid by non-residents. This one from Bloomington shows that 75% of the sales taxes would be paid by non-residents. Have you guys, I reached out to them, they didn't have one for Brainerd or Baxter, but have you guys done your own estimate of what percentage of the sales taxes collected in your city come from non-residents?
Mr. Chair, Representative, we haven't done one for this extension. Originally, when we had the authorization approved in 2006, we estimated at the time about 80% of the sales tax was generated outside of the city. That's just based on, if you look at the fact of the number of visitors that we have to the area.
Representative Elkins.
Yeah, that's about what I would expect. So, and the last kind of question, then I've got a few comments, but this one has been around for 20 years now. Is it, your assumption for fiscal planning purposes that you're always going to have this? It's effectively a permanent tax?
Mr. Vasenek.
Mr. Chair, Representative, it has been an effective tool for the city of Baxter. As we've demonstrated, there is a significant amount of infrastructure needs that a city our size of only 9,000 with 3,000 utility accounts do provide a significant amount of utility services that we wouldn't normally provide for a city our size. So we do utilize the sales tax, and it has been successful in supplementing some of the costs related to that. We still anticipate there will be significant rate adjustments if the improvements to the wastewater treatment plant and water plant are necessary. In addition to that, the street costs associated with the recently approved 371, 210 interchange and the amount of city improvements that are going to be necessary to make that project successful, as well as providing an opportunity to have local traffic utilize the local streets as opposed to the 371 corridor would require that, but it still is going to require some significant increases in both our property tax levies as well as our utility rates.
Representative Elkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So kind of wrapping it up here. So in a little bit of history, in the year 2000, MnDOT completed the Highway 371 bypass around the city of Brainerd through the city of Baxter. And almost immediately, a retail big box strip mall materialized along the 371 strip. And so in 2006, Baxter requested its first local option sales tax, which in the first full year of collection collected about $1.9 million. The next year, Brainerd said, me too, I want in on this, because you guys were coordinating on the water projects. Their first full year, they collected $830,000. This year, last year, we have data, 2024, Baxter collected $3.5 million, which is $400 per capita. Brainerd collected $1.5 million, about $102 per capita. And so non-surprisingly, I looked at, used the League of Minnesota Cities property tax calculator and discovered that in Brainerd, the property taxes on a typical $300,000 home were about $100 higher, about 4% higher. I'm surprised the difference isn't bigger. But this is a perfect example to me. Chair Gomez has mostly made the fairness argument. There's clearly a fairness argument here. You've got two adjacent cities. Both have a local option sales tax that was originally developed to support infrastructure. And because all of the retail has gravitated to the 371 strip, all of the retail dollars, the sales tax dollars, are gravitating out to that strip, to the extent now that whereas MnDOT spent $13.5 million to build the 371 bypass, all of that retail development has generated so much traffic that they're coming back now and have a $58 million project to redo the interchange of 210 and 371 in the heart of the retail strip in downtown Baxter. And Baxter now wants to use $16 million of sales taxes, of which 80% will be paid by non-residents for their local match for this new MnDOT project. I can't think of a single city in this state that would not love to have an opportunity to use a sales tax which is paid for 80% by non-residents to pay their share of a local match on a MnDOT project. So this is just, I'm picking on you guys because this is such a clear-cut example of everything that's wrong with local option sales taxes. They're inequitable, they drive uneconomic forms of development that in turn drive the need for more infrastructure. And, you know, links to all of the information here I've provided to staff. Well, if any member or member of the public who wants to read more about this subject can do so, will be able to do so. But this particular project exemplifies everything that's wrong with local option municipal sales taxes. And to add on to that, as the, Chair Gomez has already remarked, these taxes under state law cannot be used for street or sewer projects.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Thank you. Representative Heintzeman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes. I do feel the need to respond to that, Representative Elkins, because some of these challenges in Greater Minnesota are unique to Greater Minnesota. And this is a tool that is extremely important to address those needs. And I felt that in testimony it was covered, but I'm going to go over it again. When you have the huge influx of people coming from other parts of the state to utilize this infrastructure and to move from maybe one location to a cabin, what have you, through this region, the pressure that is brought there is tremendous. And this community is at its own cost trying to figure out how to address that issue. And part of that could be, and has in the past, been handled by this sales tax. I think it really does work as a tremendous benefit to all those that use this infrastructure. And in many, you could make the argument it's certainly regionally significant and significant to even many parts of the state at large. So I certainly disagree with the suggestion that it's unfair. I think that it is responsible rather than as it's been characterized in your statements and comments. It's not anything personal. I just think that, you know, when you're in another part of the state. Well, that was the comments made before what was quite personal earlier. So we're returning one for the other. When you have the kinds of challenges that Greater Minnesota has, we certainly appreciate this option. We do not think it's unfair. We're grateful to have the opportunity to present the bill before the committee today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And we're glad you're here, Representative Elkins.
No,
Chair Gomez. Any other member questions? Wrap up with Chair Gomez. Chair Gomez.
Thank you. So just since this came up during the last bill, that, you know, some of these older local option sales taxes, and again, you know, state statute requires one to expire before we authorize another one, and a one-year kind of break from it so that it's not a perpetual sales tax, which this doesn't appear to comply with. But in 2021, there were changes made to 297A.99, which is where it defines an allowed use for local option sales taxes, which are very limited. And there are reasons that we did that, kind of related to the comments that I gave at the last meeting, and some of the issues that Representative Elkins has surfaced. It's pretty clear. It's for Capitol buildings, which is a freestanding building, parks and trails. And so, you know, so just street improvements are not on that list. Wastewater treatment facility renovations are not on that list. And, you know, tax chairs over my time here have struggled with this and have tried. You know, I think that was Chair Joachim who, you know, as property tax division chair, tried mightily to bring some definition to regionality, to what a capital project was, to whether there was like a nexus with the project and those paying the tax. And so, you know, just if we're coming in and just notwithstanding every limit that every taxpayer has ever tried to put on these things, it's like they just get bigger and bigger and more tilted toward cities using these to provide the basic services to their residents. And, you know, I have the adjusted net tax capacity per capita for every city that has applied for one of these things. Baxter is in the 89th percentile. That means that they, per capita, have more tax base than 89% of cities in Minnesota. And the rate is less than 50%. And so you will look, if you look at kind of at this data, you will see actually Chair Davids has 2 projects where the rate is above 100%, which means that they really are utilizing all of the capacity that exists in their property tax levies. And so, you know, we have to take a look at those things also, and that we're not allowing cities that have the tax base in the property tax base to provide for the basic services of their city, to use this tool, which gets exported, you know, to people from outside the city who aren't, you know, using the water resources or the roads in the same way that the residents are. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and Representative Heintzeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With all due respect to the co-chair, I would correct the record. We're not talking about just providing basic services to residents. I'll just give you an example. Brainerd International Raceway could cause an influx of well over 100,000 people in our region that otherwise wouldn't be there on any given weekend. So these are services that are being provided to many, many, many more folks than just basic services to Baxter residents. And these people come into our area and they depend on having these amenities available to them, basic water infrastructure available to them, roads and such. There is much more to it than that. And so I just needed to make sure that the record is corrected so that folks understand if they're coming back and watching and maybe enjoying our hearing today, that they do recognize that there's much more pressure on this infrastructure than there is in other parts of the state.
Okay, thank you. And members, we are over 30 minutes in this meeting. We're on our second bill. So let's not dilly-dally here. Representative Joachim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the latitude. I'll just be quick. Infrastructure across of all of our state is very important, especially in greater Minnesota where the tax base might be lower, but that is why we have local government aid and county program aid. That is why we have bonding bills. So that is also why we worked really hard in 21 to put more definitions around what these local option sales tax can be for and took them off of street improvements and wastewater, because that's something we both do statewide collectively as well as helping cities individually. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to wrap it up, Representative Heintzeman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to present the bill, Mr. Chair and members, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. I'll renew my motion that House File 4506 be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to Representative Nadeau. I'll move House File 5039. Two-year bill, Representative Nadeau.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members. Happy Earth Day, and thank you also, Chair Gomez, for hearing House File 5039. This bill authorizes the City of Champlin to use a sales tax to finance up to $18 million for the construction of a new multi-use indoor athletic facility. The City of Champlin's northern border is the Mississippi River, and the city has made very intentional efforts to build facilities that promote healthy activities. They partner with schools, athletic associations, youth sports, and it's ingrained in the way this city serves not just its residents, but so many of its next door families. House File 5039 will build on those relationships and allow the city to expand its commitment and invest in year-round activity spaces in northwest Hennepin County. Thank you again for considering this bill, and with that, I'd like to turn it over to Champlin's Mayor Sabas.
Your Honor.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Ryan Sabas, and I'm proud to serve as the mayor of Champlin. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today in support of authorizing a local option sales tax to fund a multi-use indoor athletic facility in our community. The request is about fairness, opportunity, and a long-term investment. The students at one of the largest high schools in our state, Champlin Park High School, and the largest middle school in the state of Minnesota, Jackson Middle School, face a real disadvantage. Neighboring communities have invested in indoor facilities that allow year-round training. In Champlin, our programs are still at the mercy of weather, leading to canceled practices and fewer opportunities for all of our students. We are also facing a significant shortage of gym space. Organizations such as the Champlin-Dayton Athletic Association are struggling to find adequate space for basketball, volleyball, and other programs, resulting in late nights, long travel, and some of our kids even being turned away. This is not just a Champlin project. It directly serves students and families from cities like Dayton and Brooklyn Park who are already a part of our schools and programs. This facility would provide a reliable, year-round space for athletics, school activities, and community use. It is also built for the entire community, with an elevated indoor walking track offering a safe, accessible place, especially during our harsh winters, for residents of all ages, especially seniors and families, to stay active and connected. Economically, this is a smart investment. Tournaments and regional events will bring visitors who support local restaurants, hotels, and small businesses. And importantly, this proposal lets our residents decide. A local option sales tax allows both residents and visitors to contribute to a project that will serve our region for decades.
Sir, could you please wrap it up?
We are not asking for a handout. We are asking for the authority to invest in our youth, our community, and our future. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Anyone from the audience wish to testify on behalf of the bill or with concerns? Okay, member questions. Representative Hewitt.
Real quick, Mr. Chair, and thank you. We see these all over the state. I'm just wondering, will the people at Champlin, like the individuals, be able to get a free membership out of this? Or what's your plan for that? Are you at that space yet?
Your Honor. Or please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, thank you, Chair Davids, members of the committee. My name is Jenny Max. I'm the city administrator for the city of Champlin. Those questions are all a part of the feasibility study that we are currently conducting to evaluate the resident and non-resident component of that to provide as much accessibility and access to the facility as possible. Don't have a specific answer for you today, but certainly are questions that we're evaluating to make sure that it is available and appropriate for our residents and our visitors.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Other questions from members? Would you like to wrap it up, Representative Nadeau?
Thank you again for considering this. Appreciate it.
That was the best wrap-up ever. I'll renew my motion that House File 5039 be delivered for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you to the folks from Champlin. Thank you, Representative Nadeau. We are going to we're trying to accommodate people that have driven in from a distance. We're going to go to the Warwas. Then it's my intention to take care of the three Representative Chair Franson bills. So Representative Warwas, and then you're next. Representative Warwas moves, let's see here, 5038. Are there any amendments?
Chair, no amendments to my knowledge.
Okay. So members go down to, where is it here? Last one. Okay, 5038, second last one. Okay. Welcome committee to your committee, Representative Warwas. If you could please present your bill.
Thank you, Chair and members, for taking this opportunity to hear my bill. The City of Virginia is respectfully requesting legislative authorization to continue its existing voter-approved local option sales tax after completion of its current purpose. This request does not create a new tax or increase the rate. Instead, it allows the city to extend the same funding tool to address critical infrastructure impacts caused by the deterioration of and the conversion away from the aging municipal steam system. And here with me today to testify is Virginia Mayor Larry Cuffey Jr., who has traveled 3 hours to be with us.
Your Honor, you have a nice trip?
A very nice trip.
Okay, please state your name for the record and who you represent and provide your testimony.
Thank you, Chair Davids and Chair Gomez and members of the committee. My name is Larry Cuffey Jr. I'm the mayor of the city of Virginia, Minnesota. We are here to request authorization to extend our local option sales tax. And we do have a purpose of it right now. It appears as though the collection of this sales tax has been more than we expected and will expire sooner than we anticipated it would. One of the major issues for us today is to extend this local option sales tax because our steam plant is being decommissioned effective October of 2026. Every single business and every single residence in the city of Virginia is required to convert from steam to natural gas at a cost of about $30,000 for a small house to up to $950,000 for a business. And so part of that is the commitment that they're making. What's the problem for us is that we have steam vaults that are collapsed, and they were built in the 1900s. We have water development things that are completely deconstructed. The steam is going to be shut off in all parts of the city of Virginia. Water lines run close to the steam plant, or to the steam lines, and the steam lines kept the water pipes from freezing. We've had floods in 2021. We had floods in 2023. With the capacity with the collapsing of this system created a big problem for us. So we're using all our levy opportunities. We have other funds that we are going to try to utilize in part of our request for additional funding within the city. But we need this local option sales tax extension in order to accomplish 92 miles of roads and alleys to remove all the steam vaults and replace some natural gas lines, and in addition to that, replace our water lines as well. So it's a complete infrastructure program through 92 miles. It's going to take a significant amount of time in which to do that. So we're asking you today to consider an authorization for that extension. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, and we've talked about this, and you really been kind of put in a box here. And I'm not sure how this is all going to work, but I know you've got plans to this. Why do you have to go from steam to natural gas? Is this an MPCA thing, or?
Chair Davids and Chair Gomez, a member of the committee, we do have an issue with respect to our what do you call our Department of Public Utilities. They are an autonomous entity under our city's charter. The city of Virginia has no control over the decisions that they make. They're completely autonomous. So they decided through the commission to decommission the steam plant because it was costing way too much money to produce steam. We were running the steam plant on coal and on wood, and both of those are emission issues for us. And it has not been a moneymaker. We've lost money every year. The steam plants have lost anywhere from $3 to $4 million a year. So the purpose is to move to natural gas because all the lines are completely decimated. And because they have been decimated, all the water that's coming in to go to our water sewage treatment plant, which is about 14 years old, it causes backup into the sewer lines, and it's flooding people's basements into significant cost to our residents.
Okay, anyone from the audience wish to, it's not okay, but I understand.
I understand, yes, thank you.
Anyone from the audience wish to testify on behalf of this bill or concerns? Okay, member questions. Chair Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just, again, not a, I mean, this sounds like a tough situation for this community, but it does not align with the limitations to capital projects that's in statute. We didn't receive a resolution on this one, and, you know, the regionality of this project to me isn't defined, but, so, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Any other, I guess that's the wrap-up. If Representative Warwas, if you could wrap it up for us.
Chair and members, thank you for your time and support.
Thank you. Boy, you're good, too. With that, Representative Warwas renews his motion that House File 5038 be delivered for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you, Mayor, for your testimony. Item next, Franson. It's Chair Franson Day at the Capitol. We have, we'll just start with the first one here. Or, Chair Franson, what order would you like to go in?
We'll do the city and then the county.
Okay, so Alexandria City, so I will move House File 4008. Yes. Okay, any amendments? I don't see any. Okay, Chair Franson, if you please present your bill.
Thank you, members. I should have probably taken my own advice to give my testifiers. Please be ready. All right. Chair and members, I'm pleased to present House File 4008 for the City of Alexandria and House File 3847 for Douglas County. We are presenting these two bills together to respect the committee's time and to reflect the collaboration between the city and the county. Each of these bills proposes to authorize a local sales tax of 0.25% to be placed on the ballot for approval by voters. Knowing that both jurisdictions would have proposals coming forward this year, the city and the county worked together and each proposed 0.25% for their sales tax rates. So even if both projects receive voter approval, the new sales tax rate that results will be no greater than 0.5% anywhere in the county. House File 4008 would authorize the City of Alexandria to pursue a sales tax of up to $30 million for expansion and renovation of the Prime West Health Runestone Community Center, while House File 3847 authorizes Douglas County to seek approval of a sales tax of $18.5 million for the construction of a new regional library. With me today are testifiers from each of the city and county to provide additional information on the projects. Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
who'd you like to start with, Chair Franson?
We'll start with the city.
Okay, city, please state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
Thank you, Chair David, Chair Gomez, and committee members. My name is Marty Schultz, and I am the City Administrator for the City of Alexandria. On behalf of the Mayor and City Council, we appreciate your consideration of our request. The Prime West Health Runestone Community Center has served as a regional hub to West Central Minnesota since it opened in 1978. From the beginning, the community center has been a multi-purpose facility providing opportunities for recreational activities, trade shows, educational events for area students, concerts, rodeos, and more. Although the facility had grown from one arena to two by 2000, it has not been able to keep up with demand due to growth in sports and continued need for flexible event space. The city ultimately settled on a phased renovation and expansion project with Phase 1 and 2 completed in September 2025. This work included significant renovations and expansion to existing lobby and support space, along with much-needed accessibility improvements. The third and final phase is the construction of a third multi-purpose arena that will allow for the growth of both ice and dry floor programming available to the region. As I noted, this facility is a regional hub since its opening in 1978. Over 20,000 people from throughout the region attend dry floor events annually. Recreational associations based at the facility count residents of 36 cities and 10 counties among their members and participants. Lastly, regional athletic competitions bring hundreds of teams and individual competitors from Minnesota and surrounding states each year. The economic impact of the existing facility, according to statistics provided by Explore Alexandria Tourism, is estimated at $17 million per year. We would like to highlight again the collaboration with Douglas County as they also consider an important project for the region, the construction of a new county library. A strong collaborative spirit exists in our community between the city, county, and other public and private entities. Chairs, members of the committee, thank you for your consideration of our request. We would be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Let's go to the county first, then we'll open for member questions to the city and the county. We just have the one bill before us now. When we take care of that one, then I will move House File 3847. Please state your name and who you represent for the record, please, sir.
Good morning, and thank you to Representative Franson and chairs and representatives here to allow us this opportunity to testify. My name is Lee Kaczmarek, Douglas County Coordinator. I'm here as an extension of the County Board's unanimous support to bring the new library to voters at the cost of $18.5 million, or 10 years, whichever arrives first. The current county library serves an average of 450 visitors each day, and the 19,900 square feet structure is no longer adequate for the region's population. The new 34,000 square foot library will allow expanded regional services in the areas of collections, technology, digital access, innovation, and dedicated community spaces for children, teens, and adults. With no other local option area sales tax beyond the county road maintenance tax, commissioners feel that this is a worthy project with widespread local and regional impact. The placement of the new library is strategically located amongst existing major regional institutions such as Vivi Care Center, Elamere Hospital, and Alexandria Technical College. If approved, the library would be built on a 10-acre parcel valued at $1.4 million that was generously donated to Douglas County for the sole purpose of constructing the new library. Alexandria, our largest city, has a population of 15,200, but more than 54% of our library cardholders live outside the city limits across 20 townships and 10 smaller cities. The Douglas County Library is one of the largest branches of the Viking Library system. This new and more efficient building will help us continue to serve as a major lending library to our partner libraries and users across a 6-county area in our region. Additionally, Kevin Lee, to my right, he is our library board chair, and he would be happy to answer any other follow-up questions that you may have about this library. Thank you for this opportunity to present.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone in the audience wish to testify on behalf of or with concerns on House File 4008? And it's going to be a little different here because we're also looking at House File 3847 for Douglas County. Okay, member questions. Chair Gomez.
Thank you. I'll just say quick, these projects demonstrate regionality, submitted a resolution to the committee, comply with the statutory definition of capital projects. And so I just want to say, I'm not like every one of these is the worst, but just that, we do put requirements in statute for a reason. And so I appreciate that these projects align with those requirements. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks, Chair Franson.
Thank you, Chair Gomez. Would you like to wrap it up?
Thank you for your consideration and allowing these two bills to be heard together. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Franson. I will renew my motion that House File 4008 be laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. I will now move House File 3847 that we have just heard. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will renew my motion that House File 3847 be laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Okay, thank you very much. Chair Franson, if you could stick with us here. We have another one for the city of, is it Sauk Centre? Sauk Centre, okay. So I will move House File 4497. Is this your amendment, Chair Franson, the 7A1 amendment?
I'm not aware of an amendment.
Well, it's your amendment, and I'll move it.
Oh, the 15 million, yeah. Never
Okay,
mind, yeah.
H4497A1 amendment, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion prevails. We now have House File 4497 as amended. It looks like a fine piece of legislation.
Well, thank
Chair
you, Mr.
Franson,
Chair.
to your bill.
When I come up with pieces of legislation, I wonder what Chair Davids would think, so thank you. That just made my day.
I forgot my bracelet.
Uh-huh.
What would Chair Davids do?
What would Chair Davids do? For years, I had to wear one that said, "What would Dean Erdahl do?" Kept me out of trouble. All right, so MnDOT was initially planning this project for 1992, but pulled the project. It sat on the shelf for many years. The city has been working with MnDOT since 2006 to get it back in the MnDOT Highway Improvement Plan due to the city's aging infrastructure and the condition of the roadway itself. The taxpayers in Sauk Centre already voted and passed the sales tax on the ballot in 2018 when the project was slated for 2024. This request is to increase the total allowed to be collected to offset cost increases over time. Sauk Centre Main Street is the original Main Street and a designated historic district. Sinclair Lewis was awarded the Nobel Prize for his novel Main Street based on his experiences growing up in Sauk Centre, members. So I thought you might want to know that little bit of history as well. Always learning something new.
You have a witness.
I do.
Would you like to state your name and who you represent for the record, please?
My name is Vicki Willer. I'm the city administrator of the city Sauk Centre. I'll keep this very brief for you. As she said, we did approve this by ballot in 2018, and it was before this board in 2019. That was back under the old rules where you had to go to the ballot before you came to this body. At that time, we had a maximum of $10 million to be collected over this tax, and we are now requesting that be changed to $15 million. As she said, the costs have changed. I think the biggest impact that we had for costs would be the COVID and the costs never went back down. Our estimates were based on pre-COVID numbers with inflation, and of course, now we're dealing post-COVID. We have a kind of a four-pronged funding approach. We're using utility revenues, tax levy, special assessments, and then our fourth funding source will be the sales tax. And so we have just the request will not continue beyond the original term of years that we had planned. In fact, we are expecting to terminate it early. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to testify for this bill or with concerns? Okay, member questions. Chair Gomez.
Thank you. So this is, a modification of an existing local sales tax that was implemented before we did the changes in 2021. I think it's a policy question as to whether we allow, pre-existing sales taxes that were approved for use that is, no longer applies after 2021. I just think that's a decision for us to make, but thank you, Mr. Chair.
And thank you, Madam Chair. Would you like to wrap it up?
I want to
Chair
thank you for your time, Mr. Chair, and Co-Chair Gomez for allowing my cities to present today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will renew my motion that House File 4479 as amended be laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you to your witness. Go Sauk Centre. Okay, item next, we're going to go to Vice Chair Joy's bill. If you'd pull out House File 4583. And I want to take just a second while Representative Joy is going to the table. Our staff on a meeting like we had yesterday or a meeting like today does tremendous, tremendous work, all of them, and we thank them for that. Okay, Representative Joy moves House File 4583 to your bill. Vice Chair Joy.
Thank you, chairs and members. This is, I have with me today Vice Mayor Zachary Beckner. He drove 3.5 hours from the city of Audubon, and I will let him give his testimony.
Thank you very much, Chair and Committee, for the opportunity to advocate for our little fire department and a local sales tax to support it. We have really come up against it. In your packet, there's a feasibility study that shows, that kind of highlights and shows some of the issues that we have, and we have some relatively recent structural problems that have just come up here with foundation and flooring in this fire hall that have really, really are presenting a challenge. Our fire department, they have expert training. They're just excellent stewards of the equipment that they have. We have a close-knit community up there in the lakes, and our fire department has a great relationship with the surrounding townships and communities up there. Really well received. I've sat in with some of their reporting and the meetings with these different townships, and everyone really appreciates what these men and women do. On a personal note, we had a little health issue at our family, and we had to call 911, and the person that met me at my door was the fire chief to tell me that everything was going to be okay. And there's nothing like the feeling of relief and knowing your family is going to be all right. So I appreciate this opportunity. We believe this is going to be a critical funding component for us. Please support us. It will go a long way towards securing the future of our little department.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone in the audience wish to testify for or with concerns about the bill? Do you know who your famous person is from Audubon, Minnesota?
I don't.
Joe Marshall. He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Representative Hewitt, remember that.
Thank you, Chair Davis, and thank you, Representative Murphy, for bringing these. We got to call attention to this space, but I'm just wondering to the city, have you considered, and we have to look at the big picture, we all support public safety. Have you considered any consolidated services in this region? I know that we're working on an EMS plan up there right now with Perham, but have you guys talked to other agencies to look at maybe doing some consolidation? Just curious.
We have.
To the witness.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, we have talked with some of the other departments too, and with the widespread area, we can be spread pretty thin as it is, so there seems like there's a pretty significant need for it.
Representative Hewitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to call the question that I think the more we get more of these partnerships with these towns and cities for their public safety facilities, and you and I have talked about this too, that we have to have an option out there, but we also have to look at, you know, the overall public safety picture. So again, I would never stand in the way of a public service, especially fire, police, or EMS. And I just was corrected by one of my colleagues here. I'm sorry, Representative Joy, I called you Representative Murphy.
Representative Murphy is here too.
Yeah, got them all here. Any other questions for members? If you'd like to wrap it up, Vice Chair Joy.
Thank you, chairs and members. And, you know, in these rural communities with their ISO rating, and when they try to keep their fire hall in their communities, their ISO rating stays down, and it keeps it cheaper for people's homeowners insurance. So when we look, Detroit Lakes is just to the east of them, you know, and they have a bigger fire department, and they do have a lot of mutual aid agreements together, so they have worked together, and I continue to look forward to funding this. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Joy renews his motion that House File 4583 be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you to the witness. Appreciate you being here. Have a safe trip home. Thank you. You're getting paid mileage, right? Okay. That's a big check. Okay. Let's go now to Representative Gillman, House File 4663. If you could please join us. And I will move House File 4663. So we have it before us. Representative Gillman, to your bill.
Good morning, Chairs Davids and Gomez and committee members. Thank you so much for having me this morning to testify on this great bill before you. Again, happy hump day. It's a great day. I was walking by the river this morning, and a song came to mind, an ode to Glencoe, Minnesota, and I'd like to share this with you. And we'll keep our testimony under 5 minutes for sure. So I'm going to read this to you. Dust on the boots and the Glencoe breeze, passing through the shade of the old oak trees. We've walked these miles since we were small, but the paths are getting weary, and the wood begins to fall. It's a town built on work and a town built up with pride, with the Buffalo Creek running deep and wide. But a trail needs a hand to keep it moving along, to keep the spirit steady and the footsteps strong. So let's give a little back to the land we love, with the prairie below and the big sky above. Less than a penny on a dollar, a common cent grain, to pave a new path through the sun and the rain. From the parks to the town, let the connection grow, building a legacy for the city of Glencoe. Here's my testifier.
Please introduce yourself for the record, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair Davids and Chair Gomez and the rest of the committee for allowing us to come and speak this morning. Thank you, Representative Gillman, for that. My name is Mark Lehman. I'm the city administrator for the city of Glencoe. The city is considering a 0.5% local sales tax, which, if approved by the Glencoe voters, is estimated to generate approximately $300,000 annually over a 15-year period. All of the revenue for this would be spent on or dedicated exclusively to improvements on and updates on our parks and trails. Our parks and trails are a vital part of our community. Without the funding that this local sales tax would present, we would lose a few of our parks. We do not have the ability to finance or put into the funding that we need to upgrade some parks, especially Glen Knoll Park, which is in an underrepresented part of the city. We would lose our farmers market. We have some development going on just north of the city center where we do host our farmers market now. That farmers market is a very large, regionally significant attribute to our city. We also host several club soccer teams that are affiliated with Glencoe Silver Lake Schools. Some representatives, we also co-op with the city of Hutchinson, so some of those kids come down. Without these funds, we would be in desperate times where we could lose some of these parks and some of our athletic facilities, as well as the trail system. Was a significant part of our oh gosh, I lost my train of thought there. Our comprehensive plan, sorry. And those trails are significant to Glencoe Regional Health, Glencoe Silver Lake Schools. It connects the city and allows us to provide some opportunities for some regional development as well. So with that, I would like to open the floor to questions. Thank you.
Well, you can't do that. I open the floor. to
Sorry,
questions.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm used to that. And I
I'm
apologize.
just losing control here. Okay, we never had it in the first place. That's okay. So anyone in the audience wish to testify for or with concerns on the bill? Okay, member questions. Chair Gomez.
Thank you. I just would say we limit, under statute, limit cities to one park project. This has several. Other than that, not so bad.
So we were,
Maybe you could call it a regional park.
well, so, okay, so that we actually did, our first attempt with that was to create a regional park system, and we were advised that we needed to narrow that down to 4 individual parks plus the trail system. So if we did that incorrectly, my apologies.
Apparently, they hadn't read the local option sales tax statute, but that's okay. So any other questions for members? Chair Gomez, anything else on this one? Okay, no other, okay. If you could please wrap it up without a poem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Really appreciate your time. Representative Gillman, thanks for bringing this forward here. I will renew my motion that House File 4663 be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Item next, let's go to Novotny. House File 4681. Welcome to the Tax Committee, Chair Novotny. I will move House File 4681. If you could please present your bill, and then we see we've got a couple witnesses there.
Thank you, Chair David and Chair Gomez. I will open my testimony with a brief song.
Next bill.
All in favor?
Chair Novotny.
Thank you, Chair Davids. Bill 4681 is a simple bill that uses the current half-cent sales tax that the city of Elk River already has to extend that to build a fire department. And with me, I have the mayor of Elk River here is any questions, and we have the assistant city administrator, Joe Strumka.
Okay, who'd like to start?
I can start, Chair.
Please state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Joe Strumka, Assistant City Administrator for the City of Elk River.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. In November 2018, Elk River voters approved the 0.5% sales tax to fund $35 million in bonding projects for park and recreation improvements. The referendum passed with 65% of the vote in a high turnout general election. The legislative authority at the time allowed for 25 years to collect this tax. The requested amount for the legislature approval was based on the 2016 University of Minnesota Extension Service Sales and Use Tax Study. By that time, it was implemented in Q4 of 2019. There were a number of legal changes that had occurred, namely the Wayfair decision in 2018. In the meantime, the city's collection is approximately 30% higher than that study predicted. All of the planned recreational amenities have been constructed and are heavily used by our residents and visitors from surrounding communities. We are asking today for amendment to our original authority to add a capital project, replacement of our original Fire Station 1 for up to $20 million. Fire Station 1 is our primary station in the center of the city, providing regional emergency services. Fire Station 1 serves a large share of the city of Otsego and is positioned between Highway 10 and 169 with heavy commuter traffic, as well as our critical railway infrastructure. It was originally constructed in 1971 as a 3-bay station and has since been expanded twice to meet the needs of the growing community and is home to our EMS ambulance service as well. The station has been expanded on a very small footprint, leaving very little room for modern fire apparatuses. The vehicle bays are not drive-through, and this is difficult for our $2 million aerial to be backed in safely and without damaging the vehicle. Fire safety is of the utmost importance, and this station does not have decontamination spaces currently to mitigate exposure. Lastly, due to the age and construction, the station needs significant capital improvements for electrical and plumbing. Multiple studies have been completed that determined it is the most cost-efficient to construct a new station. Our elected officials believe the Elk River community is, as they were in 2018, ready to support one more capital improvement project and support this important fire station. Thank you for your good works on behalf of the state, and we're open for consideration along with the mayor's statements as well.
Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd just like to say that I feel it's important that every citizen of Elk River contribute to help pay for this fire station. If we do it through property taxes, we are burdening those that own property in Elk River. This is the main station that we have in our city, serves the vast majority of residents in our community, serves areas outside of the city. And as Joe said, firemen's safety is very important, and we do not have a station right now that has the capability for them to wash their equipment and their uniforms properly. Cancer is becoming a big thing among firefighters, and we have to do all we can to stem that trend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. Anyone from the audience which testify for the bill or with concerns? Otherwise, I'll go to member questions. Representative Hewitt.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Representative Chair Novotny, for bringing this. I think this is a unique situation as urban sprawl happens, and we're hoping to get a light rail up there soon, too, so no laughs. But in all seriousness, these fire stations were built for the capacity the town had at the time, and now with urban sprawl and the growth, and plus they have major freeways and highways going through there that carry a lot of transit. I think that these are things that have to be on our radar. And again, we have to support these communities because they're growing at a faster rate. And definitely with public safety in mind, especially fire stations that are going to be required to handle more hazards and stuff like that. I think something like this, again, I want to keep it on our radar. How do we pay for this in the future? And again, a lot of the people that they go to respond to are not citizens of Elk River. They're people that are coming through. So just to put it on the thought, Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hewitt. Any other member questions? Chair Gomez?
So this isn't a duration extension, right? It's increasing the amount because your collections are higher than anticipated by 30%, you said?
Correct.
City Administrator?
Thank you.
Correct.
And so
Chair Gomez?
thank you, Mr. Chair. But the voters originally approved that, is it like 35 million original amount?
To City Administrator?
Yes.
Assistant City Administrator, but yes, correct.
You just got a promotion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, go with it, man. I mean, you know?
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Chair
Mr.
Gomez.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. And so is there a plan to go back to the voters with a new referendum on this one?
Correct, madam. We
Mr.
would go to the voters in November for affirmation on the referendum.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great question, because there's a major change here. Okay. Okay, any other questions from members? We'd like to wrap it up. Chair Novotny.
Thank you for hearing my bill, Chair Davids and Chair Gomez, and appreciate your support for this.
I will renew my motion that House File 4681 be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
To you and the new city administrator. And Mayor, we're very glad you're here. Thank you. Good job. Okay, let's go to the great town of Vergas, Minnesota. I love Vergas, Minnesota. Where is it here?
Mr. Chair, what's the name of your famous restaurant in Vergas?
Well, it's right on the main drag there. I've eaten there before. And do they still have the manufacture of fish ice houses there? Or am I in the wrong town?
Billy's is the bar that's right on the corner, but they have many. Spanky's is right there, beautiful, and near Vergas.
Well, see, I wouldn't go to a bar, but, you
I think
know.
I've seen you at the bar there, actually.
Well, okay. Busted. Okay, so I will move House File 4718. So please present your bill, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I do have the A1 amendment to move forward.
Okay, I will move the H 4718A1 amendment. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion prevails.
Thank you,
Barely.
Mr. Chair. House File 4718 is a local option sales tax for the city of Vergas. So this is for the addition of a new amphitheater. I want to tell you just a little bit about where this sits. So Otter Tail County has 1,048 lakes in a 30-mile high by 60-mile wide area. The city of Vergas is the heart of Lake Country. So I have a business, and I would take people up and around to call on dairy farmers. And one of the guys said, "This is the best kept secret in the state of Minnesota," and it is. And so Vergas has a very wide footprint, like the county of Otter Tail. And so with that, I have a testifier here. She is the city clerk and treasurer for the city of Vergas, and she's online.
Okay, let's go with it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Julie Lammers, and I serve as the clerk treasurer for the city of Vergas in Otter Tail County. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today about the importance of improvements at the Long Lake Park, specifically the need for a public bathhouse and amphitheater, and the role of the local
Whoa,
sales
just,
tax.
what is that?
Public bathhouse
Minneapolis?
and amphitheater.
Bathroom.
They're very different.
Oh, bathroom. Call it a bathroom then. Please. Okay,
Yes.
please continue.
The bathrooms and amphitheater, and the role of the local sales tax that would play making these improvements possible. Long Lake Beach is widely considered one of the nicest public beaches in Otter Tail County, and it draws residents and visitors from across the region for swimming, walking, and family recreation. The park is also connected to a regional trail, which significantly increases uses of cyclists, pedestrians, and visitors. Because of this combination of the beach access and trail connectivity, Long Lake Park functions as a regional destination, not just a neighborhood park. The Vergas Community Club regularly hosts community and seasonal events at the Long Lake Beach that bring in people from surrounding communities. These events support local businesses, encourage tourism, and strengthen regional connections. However, the lack of basic infrastructure limits what we can safely and responsibly offer. To fund these improvements, the city of Vergas supports the use of local sales tax. The approach allows us to invest in infrastructure without placing the full financial burden on the property taxpayers. Because Long Lakes Park serves visitors from across the region, a sales tax ensures that those who use and enjoy our park also help support it. These improvements represent a practical, community-supported investment in our regional asset that already sees significant use. They will enhance safety, accessibility, tourism, and the quality of life for both our residents and visitors. Thank you for your time and consideration and your continued support of Greater Minnesota communities.
Thank you very much. Good job. Now, Representative Murphy, this is for, you said an amphitheater, like for concerts or something?
Yep, amphitheater, yep. The city of Vergas is very much a hub for lakes. And so this is going to have a very wide footprint, but yes, an ability to have an additional service for all the people that surrounds themselves in Lake Country in Otter Tail County and especially Vergas.
May I suggest that the first band is Jefferson Starship?
We will definitely have Jefferson Starship as our first band.
So where's Freiburg when you need him? Oh, well, oh, well.
Might be a guy in a CD player.
Anyone in the audience wish to testify for the bill or with concerns? Okay, Chair Gomez. Or member questions? Chair Gomez.
Thank you. Glad you cleared up the bathhouse thing. I was going to ask about that. So just wanting, I mean, I think that usually in these, I haven't seen one that pulls out the utilities as a separate cost. I'm not sure why that happened, but I would say we just want to align the language. Usually, my understanding is that there are sometimes sort of like utilities that are included in the capital cost of these projects. So I just would say if this is going to become law, that we should align that with the way that the rest of them are written. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Any other member questions? If you could wrap it up, please. And thank your testifier. We're in Vergas, sir.
Yeah, thank you for City Clerk Lammers, and also thank you, Mr. Chair and Madam Chair and members, for hearing this bill. Again, the city of Vergas has a very wide footprint. This is an area that takes in people from all over. And so it's definitely something that they understand the benefit of these services for their community. So I want to thank you for hearing the bill.
And I thank you very much. I will renew my motion that House File 4718 as amended be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you, Representative Murphy, and to your testifier. Okay, the next bill we're going to be taking a look at is, let's go to the Klevorn bill for City of Plymouth. House File 511. So I will move House File 511. I see that there's a DE1 amendment. Is that yours, Representative Klevorn?
It is. Thank you.
Okay, so I will move the H0511 DE1 amendment to get the bill in the shape the author would like. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion prevails. We now have the bill as amended. If you could please describe your bill, please, Chair Klevorn.
Thank you, Chair Davids and Chair Gomez. I appreciate the opportunity to present House File 511, which is the City of Plymouth is respectfully requesting authorization to seek voter approval to impose a local sales tax. I appreciate the adoption of the DE amendment. The city is seeking the ability of voters to choose if they would like to fund the expansion and renovation of the Plymouth Ice Center, the Community Center, Field House, and to build a regional sports complex. These projects are regional. The city has been thoughtful in their approach to this proposal and their community engagement to receive feedback. They wish to provide voters the opportunity to determine whether or not a local sales tax should fund these projects. I have with me today to speak to the project Deputy City Mayor Gregor and City Manager Callister to be here as technical assistants if the committee has questions.
Okay. So your resources.
Resource testifier.
Would you please give us your name and who you represent for the record, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. Thanks for having us here today. My name is Clark Gregor, and I'm the Deputy Mayor of the City of Plymouth.
So you're not the mayor, you're the deputy mayor.
Correct.
He would take a promotion if you wish.
Okay. I'm going to stay out of this one, I think. Please provide your testimony.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair and committee. The City of Plymouth is requesting authorization to allow voters to consider a half-cent local sales tax to fund 3 regionally significant recreation projects. These investments will serve tens of thousands of people from across the West Metro and the broader Twin Cities region. The projects include, as Representative Klevorn said, the expansion and renovation of the Plymouth Ice Center, the construction of a permanent field house at the Plymouth Community Center, and the creation of the Four Seasons Regional Sports Complex. Plymouth is home to a growing sports tourism market. We host local, state, and national tournaments that draw thousands of visitors from across the state and the country. And after decades of heavy use, our facilities need repairs and upgrades to maintain safety, accessibility, and efficiency. These proposed improvements respond directly to community feedback and growing demand for more sports and recreational spaces. So renovating the Plymouth Ice Center will address significant maintenance needs. It will meet strong regional demand for ice time and provide more opportunities for girls hockey, sled hockey, which will help make the sport more accessible to people of all abilities. Constructing a permanent field house at our community center will replace the aging seasonal dome, which is vulnerable to harsh weather and nearing the end of its useful life. A permanent field house will provide reliable year-round indoor space that can serve visitors of all ages and allow Plymouth to host more regional tournaments and events. And the proposed regional sports complex at the Four Seasons Mall site will help address the regional demand for athletic space, better equip the city to host regional and national community events. Investing in these projects will provide substantial benefits to community members and visitors, youth sports programs and organizations, restaurants, hotels, retail businesses will be supported throughout the region, and given the regional use of these facilities, that we believe that a local sales tax is an appropriate funding tool to share the cost of these improvements between our residents and visitors. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify in support of this.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone in the audience wish to testify on behalf of this bill or with concerns? Let's go to member questions. Representative Robbins.
Thank you, Chair Klevorn and your testifiers. So I used to live right near that mall area that you want to redevelop, and it was a source of great controversy to the neighbors. And I just wondered, what is the feeling of the neighbors in that area for putting a regional sports complex there?
Thank you, Chair Robbins. Chair Klevorn.
Thank you. This has been a much anticipated, much welcomed change for the committee to know that this mall's location was abandoned for multiple years. It's very difficult to build on because the substructure of the land itself is on piers. And so this gives us an opportunity to take an eyesore and turn it into a wonderful improvement for the entire region to use. It's very welcomed.
Chair Robbins. Representative Freiberg, you missed it. We got the first booking for Jefferson Starship at the Vergas Amphitheater. So, Chair Freiberg.
Glad to hear it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just wanted to confirm what they just said, that mall site was something of an eyesore, so it is exciting that there's a potential for redevelopment here. I represent a portion of Plymouth, and not this exact site, but I've driven by that many times, and it'll be exciting to have something new there. So full support of this proposal.
Thank you, Chair. Other member questions? Chair Gomez?
Just, this complies with statute. You've demonstrated regionality, you've submitted the required paperwork, you have submitted not an appropriate amount of projects, and and they align with the definition of capital projects in statute, so I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing this forward, Chair Klevorn.
Thank you, Chair Gomez.
Thank you. I'd like to wrap it up.
I would just like to say thank you very much. It is a very important project. Plymouth is home to about 87,000 people. This will serve more than almost 2 million people. So it's really important. And the
It's going to be crowded.
You know, let's hope they're not all there on the exact same day.
Same day,
Fine.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Chair Claiborne. Thanks so much for your presentation and to your witnesses and your resources. I will renew my motion to House File 511 as amended, be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Chair Davis, for hearing the bill.
Let's go to Representative Acomb, House File 3457. I don't see any amendments at all. Okay, I will move House File 3457, two-year bill. Representative Acomb.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Since it seemed like some of the previous bill hearings were starting with a little bit of performance, I'm going to start with a joke. So why don't skunks have to pay taxes? Because they only have 1 cent. Okay, so never mind. All right, fell flat. I thought it was worth a try. It was worth a try.
Good luck with this bill.
Okay, so then skip that. Can we start over?
Yes, reset.
All right, all right. Thanks again for the time to hear House File 3457. This bill would authorize the City of Minnetonka to pursue a local sales tax to fund critical city projects. The city would levy a sales tax of 0.5% to 1% for up 0.5% excuse me, for up to 30 years to cover the 3 projects costing $116.1 million plus interest and bond issuance costs. Funds would be used to update 2 of our city's fire stations, one near Ridgedale and the other near a new stop on the Southwest Light Rail extension in the Opus Business Park. Both stations see the greatest number of calls and activity from people coming from around the region to visit and work in Minnetonka. The additional revenue from the sales tax would be used to support updates to the Marsh, which is a city-owned health and wellness center where about half of the membership resides outside of Minnetonka, living in nearly 100 different cities across the region. Finally, funds would support critical missing trails from the city's existing trail system and serve over 1 million users each year for both transportation and recreational needs. as well as the creation of a public park near a new Green Line light rail station in Minnetonka. Thank you again, Mr. Chair, for letting me present the bill. I have Mayor Shack here and then our city manager as well, if needed.
Okay.
Mayor Shack is going to testify.
If you please provide your testimony, the Honorable Mayor Shack, City of Minnetonka.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, committee members and Co-Chair Gomez as well. Thank you for considering our bill, and we're grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. Minnetonka is a welcoming community known for its great public services, natural resources, and shared commitment to safety and wellness for all. We take pride in being a good neighbor and serving not only our residents, but people in the surrounding communities and those who work in Minnetonka and rely on our public facilities. Like many metro areas, we're facing the reality that some of our most important facilities are aging and weren't built for the people, we serve people today. And we have an opportunity to reinvest in the regional assets to ensure they meet the needs for the future. 2 fire stations are nearly 50 years old, and they were frankly built for a different era of firefighting and emergency response. Our firefighters are receiving more calls and more complex incidents without spaces to meet the modern safety standards, and particularly clean spaces for equipment decontamination. The same is true for the Marsh, Minnetonka's Community Wellness Center, that supports physical and mental health and is connecting with thousands of folks each year. The building was built 45 years ago and is aging, and the accessibility is limited and just frankly isn't keeping up with how people use our facilities. Minnetonka's regional trail system is heavily used and has many disconnected segments that create access challenges and limit the effectiveness and safety for this popular multimodal transportation and recreation resource. Completing the city's trail improvement plan strengthens this network and improves access and safety, particularly for commuters commuting through our city and accessing light rail stops in our city and in neighboring cities. And then finally, the Opus area where our light rail station will be is set to open in 2027, and we're planning for a community gathering space at this stop. The Opus area is a major employment and activity center, but it lacks a clear and intentional gathering space for visitors, employees, and residents. We have an opportunity to reinvest in these essential community assets so we can continue to serve the people of Minnetonka and our neighboring cities. That is why we're seeking legislative approval to give our residents the opportunity to decide if now is the right time to move forward with these investments. I'm happy to provide any additional details on each of these projects or answer any questions you may have. Thank you, Chair.
Well, Your Honor, you said several disturbing things here. One, you said about the fact, you said 50 years old was old. And that 45 years is aging? You know, that makes me feel like, Your Honor?
Chair, I'm in the same boat, I'll tell you.
Okay. No, very good testimony. Thank you. Any one in the audience to testify for the bill or with concerns? Okay, member questions? I guess a joke works. Okay. Okay, please wrap up, Representative Acomb.
Thank you for the time today. Appreciate it, and I hope we can earn your support.
Thank you very much. I will renew my motion that House File 3457 be laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you, Your Honor, and thank the resource, and Representative Acomb, thank you very much. Okay, I've got 3 little David's bills here. Let's just start. I'll move House File 4086, and there's an amendment. I'll move the H4086A1 amendment. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion prevails. Ms. Hagler, could you please describe House File 4086 as amended?
Mr. Chair and members, the House File 4086 would provide local sales tax authorization to the city of Lanesboro. This is as amended.
500,000 would be the cost for improvements to Sylvan Park, and $2 million for the Trunk Highway 250 road improvement project. The city would be, or excuse me, the tax would be in place for 30 years at a 0.5% rate.
Yes, and members, the biggest part of this bill is for street improvements. Many of you are familiar with Lanesboro. You come down and visit me, and you'll stay and recreate in Lanesboro, very great tourist area. And their main street, which is also a State Highway 250, is going through total renovation. I mean, they're digging down deep and fixing everything with the very, very old pipes and all that type of thing. And for a town of 700 and some folks, it's would really be a burden, but they are fortunate to have the ability to generate some pretty good sales tax numbers, and this would really help them. And they just redid their sewer plant, they just redid the water, we did the dam. So they're stretched pretty thin right now on this, and this project's gonna go through, so the city's trying to figure out how to pay for it, and I thought this was probably a good idea. Anyone from I have no witnesses. Anyone from the audience wish to testify for the bill or with concerns? Member questions? Chair Gomez.
Just as we've discussed today, road projects are not an allowed use under statute, which is why the amendment not withstood the definition of capital projects. So I just think we should align with the minimal limits that we've put in statute. But thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for members? I'll renew my motion, House File 486, as amended, be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you, members. Item next, City of Caledonia. I'm a pretty big fan, obviously, of local option sales taxes because the City of Caledonia is in a situation here where I'll have Ms. Hagler describe it, but they were going for bonding for this, and they go, the city, they're all going for bonding, and I said, hey, that's gonna be a tough one this year. So let's take a look at this. Ms. Hagler. I'll move House File 4334.
Mr. Chair and members, House File 4334 would authorize the City of Caledonia to impose a 0.25% local sales tax for 10 years to collect $1.6 million for construction of a public safety center.
Thank you. Questions for members? Chair Gomez.
This is an actual capital project. We don't think we received a resolution, but less concerned about that than the items contained in statutes, the limits contained in statutes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for members? I'll renew my motion to House File 4334, be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Item next, I will move House File 4768. This one, and I think we're gonna get a lot more of these, but first of all, let's get the bill in shape that I would prefer. I move H 4768A1 amendment. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Aye. Opposed? Motion prevails. I'll have Ms. Hagler describe it, but basically, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these across the state when we had the Mighty Ducks program. There were a lot of facilities built, and I don't know how much thought they gave to what it's going to cost down the road. We have,
Sorry.
So we have a situation here where, again, the city of Crescent came to me, they wanted to bond for this. They've got to do a lot of design and construction, and of course, you have to go to different chillers and all those types of things for environmental reasons and so forth. So I said, hey, guys, and this one, it came in like super late because we were going from bonding when it didn't look like that was going to go anywhere. I thought, well, let's go to Plan 2. So, Ms. Hagler, what is Plan 2?
Mr. Chair and members, as amended, House File 4768 authorizes the City of La Crescent to impose a 0.5% local sales tax for 20 years for $6.5 million for design, construction, and equipping of a regional ice arena.
Okay, anyone in the audience wish to testify for the bill or with concerns? Member questions? Chair Gomez? Okay, thank you very much. I'll renew my motion at House File 4768 as amended later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Okay, members, we're doing it. We're doing a great job here. You guys are. I'm not doing so good. Okay, so now we have Representative Hicks, David Smith labeling bill. If you could please come to the table and present your bill. I will move House File 4194. Representative Hicks, welcome to the Tax Committee. And if you would please present your bill, and then how many witnesses do we have? Representative Hicks?
We have one in the audience, but someone else was on their way. I'm not sure where they're at, so we'll just do what we've got.
Okay, are they for or against the bill?
For. This
Oh, then we'll
against
wait.
and for.
Then
One
we'll
of
wait.
each.
Yeah, then we'll wait. Okay. So with that being said, we now have, I've moved House File 4194 to our bill. Representative Hicks.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you for being a co-author on this bill. This bill is different from the other bills you've heard today. This bill is designed to reallocate how our local option sales tax that was approved can be utilized. In 2023, the Minnesota legislature approved for the city of Rochester to go to the voters regarding sales tax. In that proposal, which the city has provided to you in your packets, you can see what they offered us in 2023. They talk about a regional sports center. In the packets that they provided you today, you will see at the sports center that there is a line there that says the details will be determined with substantial community and stakeholder engagement and in an equity-focused manner. There was no community engagement. There was no stakeholder engagement. There was a decision to proceed with outdoor facilities regardless of input from the community in a location that is not accessible easily by public transit, in a location that does not currently have bike trails attached to it, in a location that is not where our most needy community members live. And the proposal, as they have explained to you in their materials, is completely outdoors. No indoor facilities for community, no opportunity for what they told us would be part of the process. And again, as you can see in the materials they provided to you, they stated to us in 2023 that there would be substantial community engagement. I have been working to try to facilitate and encourage that engagement since that vote in 2023, and I have been unsuccessful. It has not occurred. They are now doing some engagement for an alternative option for community after this bill was dropped, after this solution was brought forth. So I come today to request that my bill be included in the tax bill to allow the city of Rochester's voices to be at the center of this project, as they always should have been. And my testifiers on both sides of the issue are now both present.
Both. How would you like to start out with concerns or?
The city can testify first, please, Chair.
Okay, let's go. First of all, other than the two folks who have to testify, is there anyone else in the audience which testify on behalf of the bill, the Hicks bill, or with concerns?
Oh, Chair?
Yes.
I would like to point out that there's a stack of letters in members' files, folders from community members, and more were still coming in this morning, but that's what I was able to get you prior to hearing.
Oh, and we will get those posted, so people have that.
Thank you.
If you could please state your name and who represents for the record, please, sir.
Chair Davids, Chair Gomez, and members of the Tax Committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. I am Randy Schubring, President of the Rochester City Council.
Welcome to the committee, sir.
Thank you. I want to begin by thanking Representative Hicks for our ongoing conversations on this matter. And while we disagree on this legislation, we share a mutual desire to do what's best for Rochester. I also want to thank the House and Senate Tax Committees for granting the City of Rochester back in 2023 the authority to place 4 Rochester public infrastructure projects on the ballot to be funded with a local sales tax. We are grateful that Rochester citizens approved each of these 4 ballot items when they voted. These projects are underway, and we are proud of the work that has been completed thus far. During the design estimates of the 4 infrastructure projects, we learned that the cost of one of the projects, the regional athletics facility containing both indoor and outdoor facilities, came in far higher than expected. This meant that not all of the components of the athletic facilities project, indoor and outdoor, could be financed with funds contained in the bill. We are building as much as we can with the dollars that were authorized in 2023. We are working within the constraints of the approved legislation. The ballot question placed in front of the voters received a majority of the support from residents at 53%. We ask that the tax committee not create a precedent of overturning local election results. As a community, the city of Rochester takes the needs and desires of the residents of Rochester very seriously. I personally know that Representative Hicks does as well. I'm respectfully opposing this legislation and ask that we work with the tax committee chairs and members, Representative Hicks, and the entire Rochester delegation to address the remaining funding shortfall for the additional athletic facilities components. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify.
And thank you very much, Mr. President. Okay, if you could please state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
Kamal Wilkins.
Welcome to the committee, sir.
Thank you. My name is Kamal Wilkins, and I work with thousands of kids across southeast Minnesota as a coach and youth after-school enrichment business owner in Rochester, southeast Minnesota. I'm here because people who sent me to this building deserve better than what they got. Rochester voters were shown pictures, real pictures, indoor basketball courts, tracks, a 125,000 square foot field house, a 4-season community recreation complex. This is Minnesota. So they were sold a vision. They voted for that vision, and then somewhere between the ballot box and the bulldozer, the promise disappeared. What we are getting instead, 8 baseball diamonds in Rochester, Minnesota, where you can use them for 165 days a year in a city that averages 50 inches of snow. We were promised snow boots, and they gave us flip-flops. We voted for that indoor facility, basketball leagues all winter, volleyball tournaments in February, student athletes training for track when it's 15 below, adaptive sports, after-school programming were all imagined, space that working families could actually use every month of the year. 12 months of the year. That's what people voted for. This wasn't a misunderstanding. The city's own pre-vote materials described indoor and outdoor space. A 48-page community recommendation backed it. Then, a 14-member working group met 3 times and somehow redesigned the entire project, 3 times. I had longer conversations trying to figure out what documents I needed to get state-issued Minnesota Real ID. The financial model supporting this ballpark is mostly anecdotal, built by people with zero experience in this market, including a California-based operator with zero skin in the game. They won't be here when the bills come due. We will. The people of Rochester did not vote for 8 baseball diamonds. They voted for a community recreation complex. That's what we voted for. What they got was a bait and switch. The city took a public mandate and gutted the part that served everyday families. That is not how public trust works. That is not how our money should work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone from the audience wish to testify for, against, not against, that's such a harsh word, with concerns? Okay, let's go to member questions. Representative Hewitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I know we're in a hurry. Representative Hicks, thank you so much. I think a lot of us think our job is done once these bills pass and once they're done, and then we hand them off to the cities or whatever. But this is exactly what I think our expectations should be of it as a legislator, to make sure that it's followed through. And if you see a hiccup in the process where people that put us here are not getting involved, not doing what they feel is best for their tax dollars, you came back to us, you did the right thing, and I really praise you for that. Thank you so much.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Chair, for hearing this, and Representative Hicks, thank you. I'm a co-author on this legislation, and I do think, members, that this bill is the most important bill that we heard today. Not because it was Rochester, although I'm very interested in Rochester, but it is a larger point. Can these cities and counties come before us in this committee, what we heard today, and, whether purposefully or not, mislead us on what these projects are going to be? And more importantly than just us in this room, who we represent, can they go back to those communities and mislead our people on what they're going to pay for through when they vote on whether they want to pay this sales tax in their communities? This project immediately doubled in size as soon as it was approved. And immediately, the thing that was most exciting for the people of Rochester, which is more indoor space, was completely taken out. And it's now just for regional tournaments. I hear about this almost daily from my constituents, and we need to stand on principle that when you tell us you're going to do something, you have to do it. You can't misuse the people's money. And that's true for my city, gladly say it, and it's true for all of our public institutions. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Representative Hicks.
Thank you, Representative Smith. And for the record, I believe that the council passed what they're moving ahead with. No. But the mayor vetoed it, the council overrode the mayor. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's correct for the record. Representative Roach.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Representative Hill, for bringing this. Quick question for you. Was there a non-disclosure agreement signed at any point during this?
Representative Hicks.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Roach.
Yeah, I mean, this just goes to show that seems to be at the local government level, there's, not a lot of transparency. Seems to be happening more and more. So I appreciate you stepping up for your community and representing them and putting this out in the public. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. If I could please get the name of the other testifier sitting on your right. We didn't get his full name.
Kamal Wilkins.
Wilkins, okay. Kamal Wilkins. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Member questions? Would you like to wrap it up, Representative Hicks? Oh, there you are. Representative Lee, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. No, I'm very short, and also I'm not in your line of sight today.
Well, this great big guy was sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
I should talk, huh, Mr. Swanson? Okay, Representative Lee.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And this is not specifically about this bill, but just generally this issue. My city, the city of St. Paul, recently lost a lawsuit about our lost bill. And so, as a part of this, right, there is this question before us of, what happens after the legislature approves of loss and it goes back to the people when they vote on it. So I don't, have any stake in Rochester like some of my other members. Thank you, Representative.
Representative Lee, Rochester is the center of the universe.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Just so you know.
Amen, Chair.
Yes.
Third largest city
Cannot
in the
disagree
state.
with the chair. But so as a part of this, right, the city of St. Paul will be maybe bringing legislation to fix the ruling, and so that's kind of my little preview. But I do think it presents a unique question to us of, the role of the legislature to conduct oversight over lost bills, and what that looks like after we approve them. And so I do just want to put a pin in that for the committee. Thanks.
Representative Lee, the St. Paul situation, is that something we could look at now, or is it going to take some time?
It's my understanding that we can look at it now, and ideally, like we should. So I think we are getting language together.
Why don't you have your people talk to my people, and we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. It's nice to have people, isn't it? If you'd like, any other member questions, first of all? If you'd like to wrap up your bill.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you so much, members. It's really hard to disagree with your friends. And many of the people on our city council are my friends. And I advocated for this sales tax. I have a bazillion children who are all involved in a lot of sports, and I hear from families across our community all the time about the lack of opportunities for our community to participate in things, right? We just don't have a lot of recreational space. I was very excited about this sales tax vote. I advocated hard for it here and at home, and I voted for it. And it's not what I voted for. And I think when that happens, we have a responsibility as a legislature to respond appropriately. And so I appreciate your consideration. I recognize that this is not what you heard earlier today from everyone else, but I hope all the bills you heard today and all the local option sales tax that may or may not move forward in the future, that by ensuring that what is stated is what occurs, becomes the precedent and not, and stops happening across our state. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I will move House File 4194. Was that amended? No. Okay. Be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill. Okay, with that, members, thank you so much for making this work. So our afternoon committee hearing has just been canceled. And I would really like to thank the staff for all the work they've done. And I'm going to be apologizing right now to partisan and nonpartisan staff for the next month what we're about to do to you. So it's that time of year, it's going to be tough. And you folks, partisan, nonpartisan, always step up to the task and make it work, and I'm very thankful for that. So if there's nothing else for the good of the order.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chair Gomez.
Yeah, usually I would never interrupt you, but we're starting at 9 tomorrow, very important. Sorry, Representative Hewitt. We're going to continue hearing some sales tax, local option sales tax bills, and we'll hear the governor's bill tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing everybody. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Very good. If you said 8, I'd be here at 8, but you didn't say that.
I would never do that.
Okay, good government all the time, members. We are adjourned.